On the menu today, a taste of the tropics in Miami, a city heating up with enthusiasm for foods with the flavors of the Caribbean. And a new respect for Latin culinary roots from Cuba in South America. Also today, meet the innovative chefs who are making Latin foods hot again.
Hello, I'm Carolyn O'Neil, and welcome to On the Menu. On today's show, we take you to Miami to discover what's being called New World Cuisine. It's a celebration of traditional Latin foods, modernized with a dash of American ingenuity.
Take a taste of the tropics, mix in Spanish tradition by way of Central and South America, give it a contemporary design, and you've got a plateful of New Latin or Nuevo Latino cuisine.
Latin American cuisine right now is the hottest food in town.
This is our signature dish. It's called Patria pork. It's a pork dish that represents all the Latin American countries. It's a braised pork. After it's braised, it's shredded.
Modern Latin American food is a combination of the European techniques and the Native American ingredients.
This is my yuca stuffed shrimp con mojo with a passion fruit dressed vinaigrette lettuces.
And for food lovers way past pasta and overexposed to Asian, Nuevo Latino offers a bold new palate.
Can I have some peppers, please?
It's a new frontier, as it were,
And Yuca Restaurant in Miami gets much of the credit for forging this food frontier.
You don't know how many times we've had customers come in. When they leave, they say, oh, the food was great. Was this Mexican? And I tell them, no. So, this has been a learning process for many of our customers.
Named for the root vegetable yuca, so important in Cuban cooking, Yuca now has 2 locations in Miami.
Well, I guess what we're doing is expanding on our Cuban base, on the innovative Cuban cuisine that we're known for, which still remains at our core, but exploring a little bit more of South and Central America.
Former Yuca chef Douglas Rodriguez, who now owns Patria in New York, continues to elevate Latin cuisine. This seared tuna with coconut glaze on a spear of sugar cane shows his dramatic style. Or how about a Cuban cigar for dessert? Well, this is a chocolate version, served with its own edible book of matches.
Sizzling!
A recent party at Patria celebrated the emerging appreciation for Latin chefs and their cuisine.
This is more interesting, I think, more sophisticated.
This dish of Chilean sea bass from Chef Toribio Prado of Cha 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 in Los Angeles had people talking.
Also, it was done with pomegranate and mangoes and tropical fruit, so it added a little bit of sweetness. It was really a fantastic dish.
Michael Cordua of America's Restaurant in Houston served beef medallions with a smoked goat cheese sauce and Amazon dressing made with cilantro, jalapeno, and garlic. But don't let the jalapeno scare you.
More than anything else, I think people have to understand that Latin American cuisine is not hot cuisine, but flavorful cuisine.
And answering the question, what is Latin food, isn't quite so easy today, and that's exciting. Here at Yuca Restaurant in Miami, the menu draws inspiration from the Caribbean, Cuba, Central and South America, not to mention culinary roots in Spain.
And there's no better place to explore the roots of this tasty trend than this busy Hispanic grocery in Miami.
Oh, that's trendy. Well, you can see these people are not here to be trendy.
Chef Norman Van Aken studies New World cuisine with the zeal of Columbus.
This is called malanga. It has kind of a furry exterior to it. These are plantains, and again, these are going to become black very soon. But when they turn black, they're called maduro, and the maduros are the ones that are very, very sweet. When they're less ripe than this, the green ones, they're used for chips, which we'll show you on the inside as well.
Other Latin staples, arepas, corn cakes, these stuffed with cheese. Tamales, today made with cornmeal and pork. And of course, roasted pork sandwiches.
This is a beauty. This is the Cuban roast pork sandwich, the lechon with the onions on top and some mojo in that soft, beautifully baked Cuban bread.
At El Palacio de los Yugas, or Palace of Juices, tropical fruits and juices are popular. Even sugarcane juice, pressed to order, and coconut water macheted while you wait.
Yeah, it's just like they take these things and just whack.
Are you done with that? I'm going to have some. You tried.
simple but delicious.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
Wow.
But at the very heart of Latin American cooking are the root vegetables, such as boniato, malanga, and yuca. Chef Van Aken stuffed shrimp with mashed yuca.
Now yuca has a flavor like potatoes, but it's a little more exotic. Sort of seems to have kind of a creamy chestnut flavor to it as well.
New Latin cuisine may be the next wave, but there are still mysteries.
They have absolutely no idea what Latin American food is.
And misconceptions.
Our food was always thought of as greasy, fried, heavy, and it's not like that.
But with new looks like this, it won't be long until trend turns into tradition.
And stay with us, because coming up next on the menu, we explore the rich culinary traditions of Cuban cuisine in Miami's Little Havana.
We are creating a little symphony of flavors on each mouthful. And this is the basic idea behind the way we eat. Nothing like this.
Welcome back to On the Menu in Miami's Little Havana. I'm at Versailles Restaurant, a landmark in Miami where Cubans and non-Cubans come to enjoy a little café con leche, a good Cuban sandwich, and a guava pastry. But this is just the beginning of discovering the traditional foods of Cuba.
We're in a very old restaurant in the heart of Little Havana. It has always been a wonderful place to relax and have a homey meal in a total Cuban environment.
I mean, it's family, so it always reminds you about family, just the sort of food that it is.
I had shredded beef and rice with beans and with black beans, and it's really, really good.
I had flan and café con leche.
Seeing this table of young people, some Latin, some not, gives Cuban-born Maricel Presilla hope. Hope that the traditional foods of her homeland will not be lost.
I felt very proud.
And what did you have today?
Oh, you sure you want me to tell you? This is cow brain.
What?
That's right, cow's brain.
Is he the only one that ordered that today?
I've never had cow brains, I can tell you that.
But the sweet plantains were a success.
Tastes good. I'm gonna eat this. This is definitely different than that. It's always a little bit of a culture shock, you know, when you get something new.
I just like the different foods.
New for some, tradition to others. Maricel was my guide, and what a mouth-watering tour. Pork marinated in adobo, a mixture of vinegar, garlic, and spices. Then there's the yuca root, smothered in mojo, a sauce of citrus, garlic, and olive oil. Tostones, green plantains smashed and fried, and then sweet plantains.
And this is the quintessential accompaniment, besides yuca, of any Cuban meal. There will always be restaurants like this, homey, without pretensions, that will provide some memories of a Cuban past.
But it's Cuba today that Sonia Del Corral wants to create at Victor's Cafe in Miami.
Our interpretation here of our food is what we think food would have been in Cuba had Cuban food been able to evolve.
Traditional ropa vieja is served in a basket of fried plantains. And you won't find this veal chop in Old Havana.
And when you marinate that, the flavor becomes very intense. We take that and we put it over the oak logs, and then it becomes Cuban, the taste. The philosophy is that Victor's Cafe will always be traditional but innovative at the same time.
And the taste of Cuban food is attracting many new fans. That's what's happening at Larios Restaurant on Miami's bustling South Beach, gaining a reputation as the place to be.
You'll see people here coming in 2 and 3 times a week that are just visiting.
And soon, a Larios Restaurant will be opening in Disney World. You can't draw any more crowds than that.
That's going to be a big operation. Probably going to be about 3 times the size of the Larry's that you see here.
So the traditions of old Cuba are more than staying alive in Miami. They're becoming an increasingly enjoyable part of American regional cuisine.
And coming up next on the menu, we take you to the farms of Homestead, Florida, just south of Miami, to find out how the tropical fruit crops are recovering after the devastation of Hurricane Andrew 3 years ago.
It was quite extraordinary because, here you have like Armageddon one moment, and then the sun comes out and you wonder what all the fuss was about. In just a few hours, it wreaked destruction on the area that it took us years to clean up.